to drboycetv.com. drboycetv.com is the home for intelligent black people. So if you're black and intelligent, you are in the right place. If you are new, then you should probably understand that if you're not black and intelligent, you should probably get the hell out. I used to say get the fuck out, but I'm trying not to cuss so much, so I won't say get the fuck out. I'll say get the hell out. But anyway, let me go ahead and tell you about the story that got my attention today. This is something that I thought was worth repeating, worth talking about, because it's affecting a lot of people right now. Syracuse University, you guys know Syracuse University is this school up north where they like to wear lots of orange, and it's not a bad school, but they got some issues. They got a racism problem, and a really bad racism problem, a racism problem that's been persistent for many years, a racism problem that continues to rear its ugly head, a racism problem that has really caused a lot of trauma to the black students that are on that campus. That's caused a lot of issues that they don't seem to be willing to address. And so I'm going to address some of this right now and kind of break this down. And I actually, as you guys know, I used to be on the faculty at Syracuse University. I was on the faculty in the finance department for about 13 years. And so I can kind of speak as a black man about the university and some of the concerns that I brought up many years ago. And I'm bringing this up because I think it's worth the world knowing what's going on. Many of you have children that you wanted to send to Syracuse. A lot of you know about Syracuse, and I think it's important that black people tell our story. So if you believe that black people matter the most, if you believe that black people's story should be heard, if you believe that our voice matters, type B1 in the chat. Everybody put a B1 in the chat. If you are on code with black people being first, type B1 in the chat. That's what we do on this platform. Please hit the thumbs up button also. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. You're watching on Twitter, please retweet. Everywhere in all the other places. Instagram, my Instagram's The Real Boyce Watkins, so follow us there as well. So let me read some of this. This is from News One. News One says Syracuse University protests continue after a series of racist incidents on campus that have left students outraged. The latest demonstration involves the occupation of a campus building, Kraus-Heinz Hall, with protesters staying there past closing time. Now demonstrators are being punished. They're being punished by the administrations, and protesters are saying that they're even being starved of food. Most of the protests around campus have been led by black students under a collective known as #NotAgainSU. NotAgainSU is the hashtag. Type that hashtag in, NotAgainSU, if you want to stand in solidarity with these young brothers and sisters that are in the middle of the struggle. Their months-long fight is in response to a series of racist incidents on campus, many of which began in November. Now, here's what I'm going to say on that. The racist incidents on Syracuse University's campus didn't begin in November. They've been going for a really long time. Many years ago, if you look through the history of Syracuse, if you sort of do some Google searches on news stories related to Syracuse University over the last 20 years, you would see what I call these racial flare-ups. And I remember when I was on campus at Syracuse University, I remember that they had a couple of these racial flare-ups when I was there, and I remember saying, and they took this reaction that didn't make any sense to me. It didn't seem like they were really trying to solve the problem. They were just trying to squash it so they wouldn't be embarrassed. And I remember saying, I understand you want to be mad at these young white kids for whatever they did, which they deserve to be punished if they got out of pocket. But also you got to look at the university, look at the environment that they're in, look at the people who are teaching them, look at the adults who are around them. And I remember making this point, and I remember getting on, kind of being labeled as the bad Negro, the dangerous Negro. It kind of happens like that. I don't know. Has anybody ever been like the bad Negro on your job? Raise your hand if you've ever been the troubled Negro that they were like, oh, we got to get rid of him. We're gonna write this Negro up. We're gonna make sure that he gets extra demerits with his lunch today, right? Like, anybody ever been the bad Negro on the job? Raise your hand if you are the bad Negro. Type bad Negro in the chat if you're proud of being labeled the bad Negro, if that's okay with you. And I'm telling you, that's what I attract on this platform. We attract the bad Negroes. We ain't attracting the good Negroes. If you're a good, happy Negro, then you're not going to be happy here, so you should probably get out. So let me read this. It says, most of the protests around campus have been led by black students. I read that part. Let's see here. Bathrooms on campus were vandalized with racist graffiti against black and Asian people. Swastikas were spotted in locations around campus, and a black female student was called the N-word by the Alpha Chi Rho fraternity members, just to name a few. Since the incident, students have been fighting for a list of demands that would make for a safer environment, would bring awareness to campus, awareness to racism on campus, and would implement more diversity within the administration and curriculums. Protesters have also called for the resignation of certain school officials, including Chancellor Ken Swiverd, I guess that's how you pronounce his name, and Department of Public Safety Chief Bobby Maldonado. Kraus-Heinz Hall, which houses the offices of Chancellor Swiverd and other university officials, closes at 9 p.m. when students wouldn't leave past closing time. A Department of Public Safety officer gave organizers a letter at 12:50 a.m. saying they would be suspended effective immediately. According to an organizer, now pay attention, y'all, they're being suspended from school. Now check this. I mean, think about this. This is the irony and the hilarity of it all. You're suspending the black students because they complained about your racism. So your response to their complaints about racism is, we gonna get all the black people out of here. We ain't racist, but all the black people gotta go. So more than 30 members of Nottingham SU have been placed on interim suspension, according to the Daily Orange. According to the Nottingham SU Instagram page, a black female student who never participated in the Kraus-Heinz Hall occupation also received a letter of suspension. So there's a brother named Zelly. I don't know who Zelly is, but Zelly says this is bad, real bad, y'all. Syracuse University just handed our suspension notices to students staging a sit-in. To date, no student has been reprimanded for the hate crimes during the fall semester, but students have been reprimanded for demanding better. I'm just gonna leave this right here. Tell me. Tell me how crazy this sounds to you. Say something in the chat. Does this sound crazy to y'all? Because this sounds real crazy to me. It's almost, I mean, like they're just asking for national media attention. Now, mind you, remember, racial incidents happen on campuses all across the United States. You know, I've taught at University of Kentucky, Indiana. We had racism there. I taught at Indiana University. We had racism there. Syracuse University. We had racism there. Ohio State University. We had racism there. It's kind of everywhere. But what's fascinating about Syracuse University is they always end up in the news. It's about once every 2 years they have a flare up. Like they got what you might call like a racial STD, like one of those nasty STDs where I guess it'll flare up every couple of years, right? But it's dormant, and maybe you never got the penicillin injection or whatever, so it flares up every couple of years. So basically, Syracuse, and their racial herpes kind of flares up every couple of years, right? So that little racial STD that they have in check, it flares up. Usually every couple of years in the news. Go Google it. Don't believe me. Just go Google it. Every couple of years there will be a racial flare-up that will occur on the Syracuse University campus. Other campuses have racism, but Syracuse, not only do they have a lot more actually than a lot of campuses, but they don't deal with them very well. And so anyway, I wanted to tell the story about what the students are going through because I have a heart for them. I remember when I was teaching at Syracuse, I had a lot of black parents that would say, I want to send my child to Syracuse because they saw you on TV and we really want them to learn from you. And I was like, no, don't do it. Don't send your child here because I don't think this is a good place for black people or black students. And one of the points I remember making on that campus, and this is true for a lot of campuses, not just Syracuse, but I remember saying that, you're looking at the individual that's embarrassing you because they're simply showing you who they are. And who they are is a reflection of who you're training them to be. Now what I would say to the black students is, stop being so damn sensitive about, somebody wrote something on the bathroom wall, some graffiti on the bathroom wall. Like, stop that. Like, stop getting all emotional just because a white person doesn't like you. One reality about life, and this is something that I actually am glad Syracuse University reminded me of, because in the South, you're trained to believe that people in the North are less racist, when actually I was from the South and I found racism to be worse in the North because it's that liberal paternalistic racism, that liberal intellectual imperialism where they kind of almost talk to you like you're ignorant if you don't believe what they believe and think the way they think. So they start to oppress you in various ways. So I never felt racism at University of Kentucky, even though it was bad, it was very bad. I never felt it as bad there as I felt it at Syracuse. When I came into Syracuse University in the business school, I think they had about 90 faculty in the business school, and they did not have one single black person on the entire faculty. So they hired three of us. It was almost like the Brown versus Board of Education, like the Little Rock Nine, where the little girl had to go to school and the white people are standing around spitting on her and yelling at her, where she's, because they don't want her to walk in the building. That's what we were. We were like the Little Rock Nine. They hired three of us at once, and here we are, three little assistant professors. Assistant professors don't have any power. Now, Alicia, my wife-to-be, she's what they call a tenured professor, which means the university's made a long-term commitment to her. She's about to become a full professor, which is the highest level you can get as a professor. We were assistants, which means we were new hires. It's almost like dating. The difference between a spouse versus somebody that you just been dating for 3 weeks, right? So that's what we kind of were. So it was really a tough environment. Even as for faculty members, I remember thinking, like, how are we going to succeed in this environment when we got all these white folks around who don't like us, who don't value anything we do? They don't value black people. They don't value research on black people. I was out doing work for the black community that was literally impacting millions of people. Like, I was literally the most famous person on the entire campus, pretty much. There was one guy who was close, but I think I had him beat. I certainly had him beat by now, right, in terms of impact, in terms of reach of my work. But it was weird because it was like, in the world, I got all this respect. But when I came back to campus, it was like, oh, that's that nigga over there. That's that loudmouth black man over there. So it kind of became this weird, contentious relationship. So what I did was, what I recommend that you guys, I always tell you guys this, I think every black man, especially every black man, and black woman too, who wants to be free, needs to know how to start their own business. Because what saved me was, I said, I'll just go and take my talents elsewhere. I'll go out into the world and I'll create a business and I'll free myself from this stuff. So I got to the point where I could have sued him. It got to the point where it got really contentious. It became very public because I said, you're not going to molest me in the dark. You're not going to do an R. Kelly on me and not have me tell everybody what you're trying to do. They told a lot of lies. They did a lot of intimidating. And I said, you can't intimidate me. You can't scare me. I'm a black man. I have nothing to lose. I'm not afraid of you. And so we went back and forth. And eventually they paid me a bunch of money, and gave me some little job. They literally created an artificial job just so they could put me away from the rest of the campus. And I didn't have to teach any classes. I didn't have to go to any meetings. I didn't have to do any work. I'm not kidding. I made $100,000 a year for 4 years and didn't have to do any work to get that money. And that was basically a payoff to be quiet, because I think they were afraid I was going to sue them because they knew I had a case. Because, because of course the narrative is, well, we're getting rid of this black man because he's not qualified. He's not good enough. I'm like, so you mean every black person who's ever applied for promotion in this department for the last 100 years wasn't qualified? Do you know how crazy that makes you look? And so instead of suing them, I didn't want to spend my whole life in court. So I just left. I just walked away and said, good luck with your life. I don't really care. I'm not even mad at you. In fact, I have a better life now, so I'm not even mad. I'm not mad. But I'm really talking about this issue. Somebody says you should have sued them. I didn't want to sue because I didn't want to spend 10 years fighting against a tiny university. I wanted to go out and do things in the world. I wanted to do impactful things. I didn't want to spend all my life in court. That just wasn't appealing to me. But I'm talking about this issue now that I have a platform that reaches millions of people. I'm talking about this issue in support of the students. I'm talking on this issue in support of the issue itself. The issue is this university, and many institutions have this issue. Like, a lot of you are affiliated with universities that have this problem. They just have a racism issue, and it's deeper than just, oh, those damn white kids are being racist again. Why would they call somebody the N-word? No, it goes into the lack of diversity, exactly what these students are fighting for. You don't have enough diversity within your faculty ranks. When you do bring in black faculty, because they hired a lot of black professors after when they got in that fight with me and I called them racist and I called them on their bullshit, they went and hired a bunch of black people, but they were like administrators or they were lower level faculty that didn't really have the ability to really change and shape the trajectory of the institution. Like Syracuse is the kind of place that will definitely go out and get a black adjunct professor, because that's temporary. That's like hiring a side chick for a couple of weeks, but they won't go out and get a black chancellor. They won't go out and get a black person to run their public safety department, or have a black team behind that, or have black people in important positions where they're really driving the direction of the institution, right? Like, so, or even somebody who speaks the way I speak. Like, I'm not the kind of person they would even bring in as a campus speaker, right? So, and it's okay. I don't need to be a campus speaker because I know that people there can hear me from where I stand. So I don't need to be invited on campus to make that point. So my point to say is to say that what the students are fighting for is 100% correct. I'm going to use this hashtag, not again SU, just out of support and respect for what they're fighting on. I think that you're fighting the right fight, but I encourage you, the only little caveat I'm going to throw in here is stop getting mad because white people say they don't like you. That makes you look weak. When white people call you the N-word, who gives a fuck? You call them a name back. Seriously, they call you a name, you call them a name back. Seriously, because that's the reason that liberals get you so broken down and so weak, is that they got you out here thinking that your black ass is loved by everybody, and when they act like they don't love you, your feelings get hurt and you get all distracted. Now, so if somebody was like, well, we're going to go protest because a white guy, one random dumbass white guy decided to write something on the bathroom wall, that's not going to impress me. But if you say, hey, we are at this institution, we believe that there should be a more diverse curriculum, I'm down with that. We are part of this institution. We pay millions of dollars collectively in tuition to this university. We deserve to have black professors who look like us. I'm down with that. I went to school all the way through undergrad, master's, and PhD level. I went to school for well over a decade to get all my educational credentials. Not once did I ever have a black professor. Not once was I ever in a classroom with a professor who looked like me. That was huge. That was a big deal for me because I was always learning from people who didn't fundamentally understand me, and in many cases, people who did not respect me as a black man. They did not respect what I respect. They didn't care about who I cared about. They don't care about the issues that matter to me. They didn't care about my community, and it's fine. I mean, it's their right to do that, but you're not going to do that on my money. You're not going to miseducate me and have me pay you to do that. You're not going to pull me away from my people and have me compensate you for doing that. You're not going to water down my blackness and my B1, my commitment to who I am, and have me pay you to do that. Because here's another little issue. Most of the students that graduate from this school, and this is true for a lot of schools. Actually, let me ask you guys this. How many of you are stuck in student loan debt? Like, how many of you have so much student loan debt you damn near don't even want to open the envelope when they send you the bill each month? How many of you are in so much student loan debt that your grandkids are going to have bad credit? Like, how many of you are in student loan debt to the point where you're going to probably die in debt? They're going to come find you in heaven, and bill collectors going to be calling your house when you get past the pearly gates. Like, seriously, like a lot of people are in that position. Syracuse University, last time I checked, Syracuse University tuition. Let me look this up. Syracuse University tuition. It's an overpriced school, by the way, in my opinion. When I search for Syracuse University tuition, I see $51,853, and that is just for your classes. That doesn't include room and board and books. If you add all that together, that's $70,636 per year. $70,636 per year. So one of the reasons that when I left, I created the Black Business School was because I said, if people are paying $70,000, what was that number? $70,636 a year to learn from people like me. Maybe we can educate people for $100 a month or whatever, right? Like, maybe we can do it for $5 a day, because I can tell you there's nothing that any of us taught in that classroom that's worth $70,636 a year. So you graduate from Syracuse University 4 years later, your ass is sitting on, what is that? Almost $300,000 of debt just for a bachelor's degree. Just for a bachelor's degree that won't pay you more money than you probably could have made if you got some specialized training and some skill that allowed you to start your own business. And you're miserable at the same time. So my point is this. My point is very basic. I'm going to stop talking about it after I make this point. Any institution, any son of a bitch that's charging you $70,636 a year of your black family wealth, taking $70,636 a year of black wealth out of your family, better be giving you whatever the hell you tell them to give you. They better give you whatever education you demand. You do not work for them, they work for you. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. And it ain't just Syracuse. It's a lot of these damn universities. Y'all don't understand. I'm a wealth expert. Finance is my field. When they talk about black wealth dropping to zero by 2053, everybody's seen that study. It's because of student loans. It's because of white universities like this, like Syracuse, that are taking all your money and disrespecting you at the same time. What kind of fool does that make you? How stupid does that make you that your black ass is so eager to look for love in all the wrong places that you will go hand money that you ain't even got to people who don't even like you? You're paying, it's like paying R. Kelly to piss on your kids. Seriously, that's what you're doing. You're paying them to pee on you. I got to go. Ain't nothing else to talk about. I've spoken on this issue. The hashtag is not again SU. I support the students there. I wish you guys the best. Also, I support everybody out here that's trying to think outside the box on any of these issues. Do I think Cardi B is going to go to jail? Probably. You gang affiliated. In New York, they always looking to catch a rapper on a RICO charge. She should have learned from Tekashi 6ix9ine and Bobby Shmurda. Rappers, unfortunately, rappers are among the dumbest people in America. I'm sorry, but they elevate the dumbest among you up and make them into celebrities and whatever. But you somehow think that they're the same as scholars, and they're not. They're people that literally become fresh meat and easy bait. So do I think Cardi's going to go to jail? Yeah, probably. And in fact, she should go to jail. I mean, she admitted openly to drugging and robbing and raping men. So I would imagine that somebody who admits openly to 14 million people that they were drugging and robbing people, that they would probably be expected to get punished for that. But then again, maybe it only happens if you're a black man. I have no idea. But anyway, I'm going to bounce out. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. A reminder, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you can have it for free. Go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. Also, I'll be in Oakland next week. I'm going to put the link up at drboyceseminars.com. I'll be in Oakland next week. It's totally free. You guys can come on in. I think the 29th, is when I'll be in Oakland. Then I'm going to be in Maryland, Hanover, Maryland, springintowealth.com. That's their URL, springintowealth.com. But I also put it on Dr. Boyce Seminars, so you can see it there too. And then also, I'm going to also be in another city. San Jose, California. And their website is wesummit-boyce.com. That's wesummit-boyce.com. A lot of wealth builders, wealth experts will be there, so you can feel free to go check that out. And of course, we're doing some other stuff at the Essence Music Fest. I'm getting married July 11th. You're all invited. And also the All Black National Conventions in October in Brooklyn. So I want to make sure I'm putting these things in your head so you guys know what's going on. Last but not least, if you live or wherever you are, you don't have to even travel for this. We're doing Black Movie Night on Thursday. I told you guys that we should have our own Black Hollywood. So that means we got to start with our brilliant filmmakers that are in our community. They can become millionaires and very successful and become rich and famous. If the community gets behind them, they're all very talented. So we're building Black Hollywood right now, and we're hosting Black Movie Night on Thursday night at 8 p.m. where you can check out. We're going to have a film shown by it's called Royal Geek, from a group called the Royal Mix out of Philadelphia. It's very good. It's an award-winning film. We're going to show the short film. Then we're going to talk to the director. We're going to talk to the young ladies that were in the movie, and it's going to be an awesome evening. So if you'd like to come to that event, you can watch from the comfort of your own home. Go to blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net, not .com, .net, blackmovienight.net. We're going to do this once a month because we're not just going to talk about what black people need. We're actually creating that. We're creating that. Believe me, when you create on your own, you don't spend all your time complaining about what white people did. Seriously, it doesn't bother. When white people act white, it doesn't hurt my feelings because I don't work with them anymore. So it's totally fine. Like, you can just keep being whatever you were. I'm going to be what I'm going to be. You don't mess with me, I don't mess with you. That's kind of how I live now, to be honest with you. That's really my philosophy. But I do support the students back at Syracuse University because I understand the hellhole that they're in. I just encourage them to do what they did in the movie, which is to get out. Get out. Go somewhere else. That's my opinion. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you soon. Love you guys. Peace.